Hi, it's Creative Michelle. Today I have a DIY pocketbook mini album with the Seize the Day collection by Graphic 45. I'm going to walk you through how I made the album. Towards the end, I'll share the photos, how to decorate, and do the final walkthrough as well. Welcome. Let's start. This is one of my favorite tools I use from We Are. It spaces my album when I'm adhering my chipboard. It spaces them perfectly. So first, let's remove on the back side. I've already pre-added my double-sided tape. So I'm going to center it to give it about a 1-inch space from the top. There. Then I'm going to add my spacer here. So when I'm adhering the second piece, it spaces it just right, so when I'm folding it, the chipboard's not too close together and prevent it from closing. Now let's go back over here. And the tool I use, it's just a little piercer. I think I got this at Dollar Tree for $1. It works good. I have several of them, different brands, but I'm just grabbing the one who's closest. I don't really have a favorite. It does its job. And this is the front cover flap of my pocketbook album. So there you go. You have all pieces adhered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the excess off with my handy dandy Fiskars paper trimmer. And like I had mentioned before, I like to give it at least a 1-inch spacing here. Now that I've done that, okay, what I like to do next, let me show you. I'm pulling out my little mister. This is my tip and tricks. I love using a mister so I can lightly mist my paper. So when I'm running my bone folder tool here, I'm gonna run it all the way across so it doesn't crack. So sometimes when you see some albums, they tend to crack here, but I find when I'm using my little water mister across, I lightly spray around all of it wherever I'm going to emboss, increase the edges. And although it's wet, it doesn't matter. I just lightly run a paper towel, just any paper towel, or if you have a cloth, anything will do. So, and these wet spots are going to dry right away. I'm just going to lightly mist it. And then once I've misted it, I'm going to run my embossing tool and burnish all the sides. It's front, back, and then I'll do the inside. There we go. I've burnished all 4 sides. So it's easily, so like once you fold them back, and this is how it kind of look, that's the first step. Now let's go and add and cut off the corner pieces. So if you don't have a good eye for this, what you can do is, let me get my scissors. Just mark it here I'll do all 4 sides real fast. And then I'm going to trim each corner. There you go. So once I've done that, on the rule of thumb, let's see, let me get my double-sided tape. This is my favorite double-sided tape. I buy it in bulk on Amazon. It's called Suquan, and I've been using this tape for years, and it's cost friendly. So I know the price has gone up just a tad, but it's still manageable. I find when I buy it online, it tends to cost a little more. I'm not sure why, but I buy this on Amazon. If you like, I'll put the link below. So I'm going to add, I usually like to do the ends first. So turn it around, do this side. And I like how easy it tears. Real simple. I mean, everybody has their choice of adhesive. You have people that like to use the wet glue. I use the wet glue sometimes. However, to me, I find that the paper tends to warp a little, and so I try not to use it if I don't have it. But if I'm making a smaller book, it doesn't really warp as much because it's a small area. There, burnish it. So now if you see here, you're going to have a small little gap here on each side here. And that's a good thing, because when you're going to fold it in, you're not going to see the cardboard. That's why it's good to have a small gap here so that I can easily just push it in like so. And if you see, it's going to have a little, you're going to fold it in just a little in, so that when you're folding it over, you won't see any of the chipboard at all. So I'm going to do for all 4 sides now. So just easily run your little tool, or you can use your nail like I was using. I use both. Whatever's easier for you. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Just easily just fold the insides in. And there we go. Okay, again, I want to burnish it just in case, because I'm going to start folding it in, and I want to make sure that it folds nice. So here's my double-sided tape. Oh, I should have used a thicker one. This is a 1/4 inch tape, but it's okay. It all works the same. Okay, here we go. Take the protective layer off. So, all 3 pieces. And I'm gonna, with my thumbs underneath, I'm gonna kind of bend it forward first. Before I close it. And I want it, because it's a long piece, I want to make sure that it's going to fold straight and not crooked. So definitely would like to start with my 2 thumbs. Going to push it in. Now that I'm ready, I like to usually start in the middle part and then work my way out. Now, as I mentioned, when you tuck in those little corners, you have a nice clean edge, and the chipboard is not visible at all. Let's do the opposite side. Piece. Again, I'm going to fold it starting in the middle, underneath, using my thumbs. There we go. And then we're going to burnish it so that way that double-sided tape stays down and this paper is not going anywhere. Now that that's done, I'm going to lightly mist it one more time on the edges. Just light, not too much. So when I'm folding them, and there you go, you've got your base of the color. Let me pull out the materials I need for the next step for the inside cover of my pocketbook mini. So next, what I'm going to use is my handy dandy scoreboard, also by We Are Memories Keepers. I'm going to start with, I cut for the inside spine of my pocket album, I cut a 3.5 by 12, so it's going to fit directly at the bottom base here, so I'm able to add my pocket pages on here. But I definitely got a score to create the spine so that I can add my pages to it. So normally when I'm starting it, I like to start from a 1-inch gap from the inside, so I'm able to adhere and secure this when I'm gluing it to the bottom of my pocket album. So I'm going to start at 1 inch in, and then rule of thumb for me, I like to start a 1/4 inch. Give it a small gap, give it room. So once I go there, I'm going to, my pages, to hold my pages, I usually do a 1/2 inch score, and then the spacing in between for this one, I'm going to use a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to start with a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to do from here, 1/2 inch, another 1/2 inch, and a 1/4. So 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and a 1/4. That's gonna be hold one page. One. Okay, so now that I have my 1/4 inch, I'm gonna go 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch again, and a 1/4. And that's gonna hold my second page. Let's do it again. 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and a 1/4. That's page 3. 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and a 1/4. Page 4. Okay. 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and a 1/4. Page 5. And then I'm going to go 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and then finish it off at a 1/4. That's page 6. I'm gonna have 6 small pages in there. So then from there, I'm gonna cut it at 1 inch, so it's even on each side. So when I'm centering it, there. And there we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same tape on the folds. So I'm only going to do it on one side of the 1/2 inch fold. And here's the last one. All right, so before I remove the tape, what I like to do definitely is fold each 1/2 inch, like so. Burnish it. Now, let's take the protective layer off my tape and then fold it. Bring it back. Oops. Fold it. Push it back up. Push it back up. Push it back up. So you're folding it from 1/2 inch to 1/2 inch. So one side would be with the double-sided adhesive, and fold it back up. Fold it back up. So now what I like to do is burnish it on one side here. So when you turn it over, you're going to be able to see here's your spine. Each one, just lift it up, and that's going to definitely hold our pages. This is going to be glued here straight at the bottom, and as you can see here, I did the 1/4 inch ends, so that I'm able to center this right smack in the middle. So I also, rule of thumb, this is the front side. I want to make sure, depending on which side folds better, this is going to be the front. So I'm going to glue that down. So let me add my double adhesive here. I do have a 2 inch Soko ring. These, and then I have these Fiskars titanium non-stick. These are amazing. I use those when I'm having to cut a straight line. Because they're non-stick, the tape doesn't stick to it. And it's okay if I went over just a little bit, because I'll just fold that in. So let me just add, let me remove this one, because I'm gonna piggyback and add the other side on. Normally you just use the this bigger, wider tape for stuff like this. And then here's the opposite side. There, there. There. Again, let's burnish this double-sided tape so it stays on really good. Okay, there you go. So just remember that my my spine is kind of going this way, so I want this to be the front side of my book. So now what I'm going to do, this is the front side, I'm going to eye it. So if you see, you'll see the two lines here. I want to make sure that it's centered perfectly right smack in the middle. Okay. Needs to be even on both sides. And straight on both sides. And there we go. So now, again, definitely want to burnish it. So I'm going to run my little bone folder tool. My bone folder. This actually comes with my scoreboard. It easily tucks away. I'll show you right now. So there we go, it's ready for our pages. So now all I have to do now is start working on the pages, but let me show you a feature of my scoreboard. Here's my scoreboard, and I love that I don't lose my little bone folder tool, and it's so easy to store away. So I'm just gonna open this up on each end, and it folds away easy peasy. So when I'm traveling or I need space, I can easily just tuck it away in my little craft area. So let's start with the next part and putting the pages. Next, we're going to create the pockets. So you're going to get 3 sheets of the 8.5 by 11 in ivory, and you're going to cut them in half. So half of the 11 inches is going to be 5.5. And you're going to have six pieces. There we go. 3 and 3. Next, we're going to bring out our score tool again. Flip it to lock it into place. Turn it over. I want to do them all at the same, not the same time, but each. So next I'm going to score at 2.5 inch and 4 1/4. Okay. Actually 2.5 and 6 1/4. Sorry about that. I'll put the sizes up for you. You gotta push, you gotta apply pressure so it doesn't shift on you. So, there we go. And the last one. 2.5 and 6 1/4. And there's your 6. So next what I want to do is I'm going to take a 2.5 inch punch, and I'm going to want to cut. So I'm going to turn it upside down actually, so I can center it so they're all the same size. Okay, so when I'm folding it, of my little pocket page in there. So I'm gonna punch through the next ones here. Again, I'm gonna flip it upside down, center it. I'm kind of eyeballing it, so if you see these two little notches there, I'm trying to center it at the end, right there, so that all the little holes come out the same. Oops, let's get rid of that. Probably just take that off instead of having to fuss with it, right? All right, let's see. And there you go. So let me pull my base back out, and this is what it's going to look like. You're going to adhere it right smack on each fold here, so it perfectly aligns. So let's add adhesive to these before I add them on. I went ahead and real quick added double-sided tape to the spine, front and back. I'm going to show you why. And then to one side of my little pocket page. So now that I've had it on there, so what I'm going to do is I like to work from front to back so that I can see that I'm adding them on straight. Okay, so here's the front, and I want to make sure that I'm centering it right there, so that when I'm closing it, it goes on straight. And there's your first pocket. Nice. Let's do the second one. Okay, center it. Okay. Okay, let's keep going. Center it. Always make sure that you're centering it so that it opens evenly. Back. Oops. Let me open that back up. And then I guess I could use my piercer, but I'm not. Okay. There we go. So there we go. We have all 6 pages ready to decorate. Perfect. Perfect. So you have like a 1/4 inch gap on each side. So once I start adding all my embellishments, I love to do 3D dimensional, maybe little florals, a little tag on there, so it will fill up and straighten up once that's done. So let's go to the next step. So now we've completed the little pocket mini album here. Next, all I have to do is add my pattern paper, textured paper, my little tags, sentiments, and whatnot to each page. On the inside pockets, I'll do a little mini page with a 3 inch by 4 inch. It would fit and slide right in. Add my magnetic closure, and that's about it. So now we're just ready to let's get starting. This is ready to start decorating. Here we have the front, if you want to pause to get the size of the front cover for the pattern paper. I'm going to be adhering it to the front and back of the cover. And then with a double-sided tape, you'll see here that I'll use the double-sided tape, and then I'll burnish the top of it. And that should be that's going to be just about done with this little album here, and we're going to be ready to start adding all the goodies, the ephemera and the photos as well. Here you can pause. As you can see, these are the final pieces you're going to need for the front to decorate the front cover. And all the items will be linked below, so if you have any questions, I'm going to include all the different photos you have on here. That way you can stop and you can start adding and see how I put it all together. So all the links to the collection and the tape, the metal dies, and the paper collection will be linked below. So thanks for stopping by, and I'm going to be doing the quick walkthrough next. Okay, so here's the final part of my video. This is the walkthrough of my Seize the Day pocket album. So let's just talk a little bit about the cover. So if you see here, make sure I did buy some magnetic closures. I'll link everything below here. So look how adorable. I also use from Scrap Diva. This is one of my favorite metal dies. This one is called Leaf Bundle, and it has several different styles of a leaf. But this one that I used kind of looked like a reef. So this is the one I used here. I'll link that below there. So I cut them out in 2 colors. Which was the cream, and then it was kind of like a mixed yellow and orange here. I love using a lot of dimension, so I put foam dots in some of the ephemeras. You have chipboard here, and I love how it came out. You see a lot of the little gems here below. This is what I had used. This is from Hobby Lobby. It came in a whole little kit. But that's what I used for the gems on here. So now let's do the full walkthrough. Okay, so when you first open it, you're gonna see a picture of me and my godchild Alexis, and she's my niece and my godchild. Here we are in the front of the cover. When I opened it, I used a chipboard frame here and some ephemera and that reefy leaf. Here is the first pocket. Again, I used some ephemera and I dotted up some more leaves. And so when you're cutting out the circle, I save the back part of it because we only use half cut, and I add it here so that I can create a little notch so I'm able to easily pull it out, the picture. So all these pictures would be mostly of my godchild, my niece Lexi. Here's the second page here. Super cute. Here's the other one, some chipboard, die cuts, and ephemera. It's the fourth one here. I love this little seahorse ephemera. Then you got a little journal card here. Lexi at the pool. All these pictures were taken in Cancun a couple of years ago. And that's me and my niece, my godchild Lexi. Some more chipboard and ephemera and die cuts. Here's my 4 adobo nieces on the beach in Cancun. So that would be Bella, Lexi, Gabby, and Erin. And then this back picture here is both of my goddaughters, Erin and Lexi. I'm blessed to have 2 of them. So thanks for walking by and following my video, and I hope that I inspire you to create your own on there. So again, I'm gonna have the magnetic closures linked below along with the metal die I used and the Seize the Day collection as well. So come back again if you haven't subscribed, and don't forget to stay crafty.